I'm the N to the A to the BILFONGOD, but my name as well. Ain't no realer than me, there really can be. That's why you catch me on REDTV. Africa is fly, Africa is fresh, you know, Africa is good looking. My name is Nabil, aka Nabstar, aka Nabil for real, Nabil Fongod. I am an entertainer, on-air personality, an artist, an actor, and a producer. I'm a hustler in the entertainment industry, that's where I am. Bend it down if you deal with me now. Turn about, carry on, go down. Break the body if you're feeling this sound. What's your brah? Bring me some water. Show your shine if you're shining right now. Hand for air if you're feeling this. Well, Nabil is my name that my parents gave me. It's my birth name. Nabil means noble or learned. It's an Arabic name. And I just decided to use my own name because I thought it was real cool. When I just finished high school, I had a holiday job to work on CRTV, which is the national radio station in Cameroon. And after that holiday job, I got a couple of propositions from radio stations, and my parents was really worried, like, was I really going to go back to university, or was I going to stay and, you know, follow up radio? But I was able to juggle both of them, and I started working for a radio station that signed me a couple of years after that. And you know, I always wanted to be an artist, but I felt like I was fluent and I knew everything about music, so it was easy for me to go on air and talk about the music and talk about, you know, things that I like to talk about entertainment-wise. I've always been in entertainment, like right from a kid. I think the first pictures you can see when I was 4 years old, I was already on stage and, you know, acting and drama. And then all of a sudden I was looking for what to do and not disappoint my parents after sending me to so many schools. I went to 12 schools. I was like, okay, maybe if I get into media, then it could be easy for my parents because I was going to make some money and it had something to do with my educational background. So I got into media, I started rapping on my radio shows, and it just moved on from there. One day I go buy Range Rover, close to her like Peter, sweet 16 for my daughter. No love me today, no love me other day. One day I go build for my mama. There was a Bible taking over. The streets got the power, new era. One day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. I always say, like, I'm a product of the places I've been and the things that I've seen. I was born in Nigeria, in Kano, in the midst of our marjories, if you know what I'm talking about. So I had to speak Hausa. Inaji Hausa, kadang kadang, namanta Hausa dina, you know. So after that, Pidgin, obviously, that's what we speak in Cameroon. And French is the second language here. And when I left Nigeria and came here, I had to learn how to speak French because that was the only way you could go around and get girls and talk to people and do business, you know. So I got French in it. I've lived in Europe for the past 8 years of my life. And so, you know, Dutch is like a third language for me right now. And those are the languages I kind of speak. English, obviously, that we're speaking right now. Basically, I grew up in Nigeria listening to Afro beats from the originality, like Fela, Shina Peter, you know. And also, since I was a Cameroonian, I've listened to a lot of Makossa, like Cameroonian traditional music, from the late Lapirode Mbanga to all the Cameroonian Makossa old school artists, Dede Yango, and a whole lot of them. So I already grew up with that African influence in me. And when I grew up a little bit older, I fell in love with hip hop, which was like what every young guy was listening to way back in the day. So I had to mix what I grew up with, the traditional music and hip-hop that I was exposed to, and make my own kind of sound. And I realized that I couldn't be more American than an American, even though hip-hop was like an American thing, but I had to figure out a way that I could Africanize my hip-hop. And I always felt like I was a street reporter, you know, and if I had to do music, I had to report what was happening on the streets of Africa. So my music, I called it like Afro hip-hop. It's a blend of Afro music and its culture and hip-hop. When I started, I was pretty young, and the Cameroonian urban musical scene was non-existent. So I basically had the first radio show, like urban radio show, where we played hip-hop. I mean, anything apart from the traditional Cameroonian makossa, which was what everybody used to listen to on radio. So I think I was like one of the pioneers in the whole industry. So I really didn't have any influences. I just had ideas of what I wanted to do and how I had to blend my culture and things that I knew about hip-hop or just entertainment in general and pave my way. But as a kid, I always wanted to be an actor. That was the first thing I wanted to do. I think it has something to do with me growing up in Nigeria, but I wanted to be an actor. And I decided, like, okay, I'm gonna start with radio first, and then I moved to music. I did a bilingual album with a friend of mine. He's French, but he lived in the States. His name is Jack Napier. We did a bilingual album called Two-Way Dictionary of Broken Language, where I was rapping in English and Pidgin, and he rapped in French. That was in 2007.
I'm looking at you, I'm telling you in your face. Julius! In your face! Is it me you're talking to? In your face! You know me? Yes, you. Man, no, I will give you some backhand for you now. Julius! Come over.
I always wanted to do a movie. I was at African Fashion Week in Amsterdam 3 years ago, and I met Ramsey Noah. And, you know, I was a fan. I was really a huge fan. And I told him, like, you know, I've done a lot of things. I've been on radio, I've done music, and I've done events and organized a whole lot of events. But I want to do a movie, you know, I want to do movies. He was like, you know, that's like a different ball game. So I took that like a challenge for myself, and I went back to Belgium, and I had a couple of calls. Somebody gave me a call for a script after seeing some drama that I did, and I checked it out. It was really interesting. So I moved down and, you know, I did that movie. I came back 1 year after to African Fashion Week in Amsterdam, and I met Ramsey Noah, and I'm like, you know what, I acted a movie. And we kept talking about it, and I found that I was really interested in cinema, you know. So I did another movie when I came back to Cameroon. It was called Idu, with Ruth Quenty. And then I decided to do my own movie. My own movie basically was inspired by my coming back to Cameroon. I came up with a project called This Is Africa TIA, because after staying out of Cameroon for so long, I realized like the percentage of negative images on the internet about Africa is about 75%. And I came back home, I was almost brainwashed by that after staying out for a long time. When I came back home, I realized like, but the reality is this is where I grew up, this is what I know, and it's not really that bad. So I was feeling like, okay, so why don't we try to change the perspective? Because it's just about the perspective.
Hey. Yeah. On the wise for here, no play. Sabi ne di hide over Sabi all day. We don't need war for yeah, don't take. Small no be sick, I be big country.
Cause this is Africa TI. Don't jump on the roof of TI. Pass me the tin TI. Me and my men them I feel like. Cause this is Africa TI. Don't jump on the roof TI. Pass me the tin TI. Turn on the radio feel like.
And the truth is, like, everybody's contribution plays a role in actually developing the image of Africa on the internet. And it's like drops make an ocean. Every picture is going to change that image. So we started with the pictures, and after the pictures, I got inspired to do a song. I worked with DJ Pazzo, who is like a legendary producer here in Cameroon. For the time I was out, I always wanted to work with him. And when I came back, I had the honor to. So we got into the studio, and then we did this song. And you know, it was called This Is Africa TIA. But after we did the song, the storyline behind the song for the video was a little bit too much for us to put up in just one video. So I decided to do a movie. I was like, okay, this is a chance that I have to do a movie. But basically, This Is Africa TIA is a concept that I wanted to engulf music, cinema, fashion, and culture.
Yes.
Naso is detoxing, small time.
Don't call my number.
But I'm going to get out of it.
Nabil rescue.
CFO, money.
Now money I want.
Baba, may I tell you, one a tiger, the other one a dog, the other one a pussy, the other one a rat, the other one a... Shut
up! The movie was premiered in Boya at the Short City Festival at the Art City Short Film Festival. So, you know, my plan in the future is to be able to develop all of these platforms and work with people. I started in entertainment, like, you know, on radio, which is like getting people together, and my objective is to be able to come to Cameroon with the experience that I've gathered and everything I've learned, and people together in all sectors of entertainment, from music to movies and everything, just put everybody on one platform. But, you know, generally ambitions is to make a lot of money and be relevant. I would just want to be that relevant person. I want to be the person that, you know, when REDTV come up, they holler at me.
Cause this is Africa TI. Jump on the roof, TI. Pass me the tin, TI. Me and my men, them I feel like. Cause this is Africa TI. Jump on the roof, TI. Pass me the tin, TI. Turn up the radio, feel like.